Welcome to Nyse Media Studios, Born With It here with your boy Lano the Realist. I'm your host Lano, and we got a special guest today. Yo,
Hi everyone, I'm Bree.
hey Bree. All right, so today's topic, overall concept of the show is called healing. Healing. All right, let's kind of break that down a little bit. What does healing mean to you in any type of form, relationships or whatever?
To me, healing is, I don't know, it's about being whole.
Mm.
That's what it is for me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, how can you heal from any kind of trauma or childhood trauma or relationship trauma, abuse, anything like that? How does healing pertain to any of that before you move to another place in your life?
For me, it's about finding yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest thing. On a personal level, it's about finding who I am and being true to that. And for me, that is my faith in God.
Mm. I mean, do you believe like even just to get to the next level? I had a few things going on within the past 4 or 5 years, and healing is what I've been doing or practicing on. I couldn't heal myself mentally, physically, or spiritually in a sec because I was so distracted by all the things that was going on around me instead of just keeping focus on myself. And I really went through a lot of struggles trying to heal and be a better me. But to even just go through that, I had to admit to myself of the stress level I was at a certain point. Do you believe that, like like I said before moving on to another step in your life, do you believe you have to heal? I mean, you have to go through a healing process first if you suffer from any type of trauma or mental, physically, and spiritually.
Well, definitely. Definitely, if there's something that has happened that has caused a big break in
Mm-hmm.
your life, then yes, I honestly believe that you have to pause and take the time to recover, because that if you have a wound, think about like a child. If you have a wound, then it needs to be mended. It needs to be attended to before you can move on to the next thing, or else you're going to continue to injure yourself.
Right. I mean, yeah. So you have to recover, of course. Like
Yeah.
it's like a cold. You got to really rest your body before you could get up and start moving around. You really got to completely rest your body to heal. You got to give yourself time to heal. So I want to talk about this post you have made. It pertains to healing, of course. So let's talk about it. It says, if I don't confront my problems, I'll never benefit from the solution. That's a quote by you, of course, right?
Yes.
So, can you talk about a little bit what that really means? Like, how do that pertains to healing?
So when I wrote that, or when I was going through that time, I was just thinking about all the things that have been holding me back.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to think a lot about what people think about me, their perception of me, and then trying to fulfill that or become that.
Mm.
And I just got to a place in my life where, in that particular moment, I was on a road trip.
Mm.
And so I was thinking about all these things that I had to do, and I was thinking about, oh my gosh, I have miles, and this car is being leased, and blah, blah, blah. Again, the parameters. And so I decided, I was like, guess what? You have money to pay for this. If you want to, you can do what you need to do. You are free. You are more free than you think that you are.
Mm.
So I just decided, guess what? A car is meant to be driven, so I'm going to drive.
Right.
And I enjoyed my trip. I enjoyed where I was going. And then I thought about that with my life and just trying to be somebody fit into somebody else's perception. And I was like, guess what? Just like I paid that car off,
Mm.
and I was free, and I can free to do what I need to do,
Mm.
I'm going to do the same thing in my life. I'm going to think about my values and the resources that I have and the resources that God has given me, but I'm going to continue to be myself.
I got another question. I mean, do you really care about what people think? Do that affects you in ways where it distracts you from actually even healing? Do you really care?
I did? Let me tell you. I had a vision board.
Uh-huh.
I had a vision board. And on that vision board, I would literally write the same things year after year. The same things year after year. And then for like 10 years. And at this point, it was getting worse. So, like, the problem, I was getting further and further away from my dreams. And so, like that song, Closer to Your Dreams. No, I was getting further away. And so I decided, I was like, you know what? I have to do this for me. I have to do this for me. Okay. And so when I decided that, then things started to shift. Things started to change. And then the perception of other people, like that was one of the biggest obstacles that was holding me back. I had all the tools necessary, but that was one of the biggest things that was holding me back. Me thinking about other people and what they thought about me. But then I know this is kind of long, but I also thought about this part. People were just thinking about what they knew about me, and they didn't really know me. And I was giving them this undertone of mystery. And so there were a lot of other connections that could have been made a lot earlier, but they were just going off of this persona of who I was. They didn't really know because I wasn't really putting myself out there. So they would put me in boxes, and some of those boxes were inaccurate. So I was like, I got this.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy that you say that. Misperception. A lot of people, of course, especially social media, I really truly believe that people post something that pertains to what they feel, because they wouldn't post it, right? I mean, something has to pertain to what they feel. I mean, of course, when they make these posts. So I read a lot of posts, and I actually read some of these a lot of comments too.
Those are funny.
You talk, yeah, they do be funny. Hey, you talk a lot about meditation, and how does that come into play with healing?
There's this movement where people are like, this is the real me. This is living in my truth. This is my truth. Well, my truth starts with God. My truth starts with Jesus dying on the cross for me and giving me life. And so if I decide to bury that based on somebody else's perceptions, I'm believing not God's words, but I'm believing Satan. I'm believing the devil. I'm believing lies. For people that, can understand different devil, lies, whatever. I'm believing lies. I'm believing something that is not true about me. So what I decided to do is, instead of getting just with quotes that make sense to me, I started to open my Bible and start saying, what does God say about me?
Right.
Why was I created? Why am I here? That was my foundation. Then I started saying, like, okay, well, what does God say about me? Yes. What does God say about this? And then as I started to download that into my spirit, I became more confident.
Yeah.
I have a sound mind.
Yeah. It's crazy. I had to be like that too. I had to really build my confidence back up, because at one point I was just at an all-time low here. Yeah. And, I broke down and really I had to talk to God. I had to, what is it that I'm doing? A lot of people end back in the same places in their life, whether it's mentally or some of the same situations. I had to actually make a change to grow and get somewhere. To where I really wanted to be. And it was draining thinking about what other people thought about me. I'm not gonna say I don't give a fuck about what people say, because it's not to that degree, but people that do care, that share their opinions of me and their perspective of me, knowing me, that's a difference. But not knowing me or who I am, I really don't care about what they say. So I definitely could agree with that. You know what I mean? But healing takes a lot of some time. Especially before moving on to another thing. It really took Lano a lot of time to heal, because I suffered a lot of things in my life that I never thought would affect me. So I'm picking it back off your quote. If I don't confront my problems, I'll never benefit from the solution. Okay? And you got this thing where you got, instead of this, try this. What break that down. What do you mean by that?
So, and it was like a this or that. I wanted people to be inspired by a solution, and the solution, an immediate solution. So instead of worrying or being anxious about our problems, what can we do? How can we clear our thoughts? Actually, I'm a social worker, and so some of the practices that we have in social work, I kind of use with myself. So really, instead of feeding anxious thoughts, anxiety, or negative thinking, replacing it with something positive. It's just what I'm used to doing.
I got a kind of question on that. Like, do you believe that admitting to yourself what the issues is, like you said, confronting your problems, right? Does that help you release a lot of energy too? Like admitting to yourself what your issues is, your problems are, and things like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because if you can't confront and be real with yourself, confront your problems and be real with yourself, how can you expect other people to embrace you openly and to have either conversation with you or that like they don't know the real you?
Yeah. I think it's weird because people won't admit a lot of things about themselves, and even through a healing process, like people won't show that they had. I mean, they won't. People show a lot of fake love now. We got a lot of people that's really judgmental, of course, jealousy and things like that, or they haven't, and that's really the issues they have with themselves. So they exposing fake love, when really they ain't even for you either. It's kind of crazy. So I was just asking that question, just to get that going. Moving on.
Well, actually, can we bring that back? Can I finish just one
Sure.
thing? Okay, so like with that though, I just wanted to say, if we're not, I don't have a problem confronting myself, my fears, my whatever it is that I'm going through when I see that I am going through something. You know what I'm saying? Because then that just makes you a better whoever you are. And I think that that's something when we are able to say, you know what, I do this and I'm going to own it and I'm going to be a better person because of it. Whether you decide to heal publicly or privately, do whatever is most appropriate. Not everybody needs to know every single detail.
Right.
But being able to, for me, I've lost some weight, and for me, it was just like, I looked at some pictures, I was like, girl, you need to get it together. And so I did, but I didn't realize it.
Me, I ain't never gained no weight. I don't know why.
Yeah, you've been like that ever since high school. Maybe you gained 5 pounds.
You had to mention that.
I'm sorry.
I ain't even gained not 5 pounds.
I'm just playing.
You see my arms?
I was trying to help you out.
Somebody at work asked me, like, do you see your knees? Like, it look like 2 toothpicks, they.
Stop it.
Yeah, they hold the shit out of me. They always doing that at work, but whatever. So, speaking of horn, let's move to the horn yourself moments part of the show. And, we had a whole bunch of trending stuff going on this week, and it's 3 particulars that I want to talk about. I think they was definitely horn themselves. And one of them is this guy, what is it, Lil Nas X? I'm not even sure where the X came from because he's definitely X-rated, especially to the public and our children, man. Like I say, it's no judgment zone. You live your life. You live your life how you want to live it, okay? But what he's exposing, he had this thing on at the VMA. Can you pop that picture up? This guy, he had a purple, I don't know, is that a slay? Is he slaying right now? That's what the ladies call slaying, savage? What is that? I mean, he looked like Barney. And he on himself. He look like Barney, Rick James vibe. That's what it's giving me, man. Them boots. I'm just saying. What do you think about what is he doing for the media? How can anybody heal seeing things like that? Even our children that's growing into seeing what he's doing. What do you think about that? Because that's some scary shit, right? Like,
yeah, but that's just that's what he's getting paid to do. He's getting paid to express himself in that way.
Ugh.
And I'm not saying that it is good. I'm not saying that it is something that children should be modeling. I feel very sad when I see stuff like that. It makes me sad, especially a black man, because we just, I don't know.
That's crazy. But any kid that's traumatized or confused as as our new generation coming into now, as confused that our children is growing into, like just that though, and how they exposing it to our children. Like, how would that even? Because kids got a lot of access to the internet now. They got iPads, they got phones now, and I mean, of course, all the apps on TVs now, like the app TVs. So just seeing that, I mean, just your perspective on what would a kid seeing that, like, is that okay? Like, why are they making it? Why are they trying to make that okay?
I mean, but like, what are their parents allowing them to watch? And I mean, if he wants to look like Rick James slash Prince, then let him do the Purple Rain. I mean, I don't know, like, but from a like you're saying, from a child's perspective,
I mean, I just think it's going too far, especially with the pregnant picture. I mean, a man being pregnant, like that's kind of, you don't think that's taking it a little to another level.
But again, he's being paid to present that way. It's he's being praised for presenting that way.
Shit, I'd be honing myself if I did it. So he definitely honing himself.
He's a clown, but
shoot me in the foot before I sell my soul, man. I'm just saying.
But that's his choice, and so that's why we have to do a better job, I think, as a community, raising children and giving them the nurturing, the love, the positive role modeling that they need, because that's what's out there. And that, I mean, it's been out there for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean,
he ain't the first, and he's not gonna be the last. What about Cardi B? That's another story.
All right, well, I mean,
that's another thing.
Definitely the music making, the style and stuff like that. Of course. Let's move on to the next one. So speaking of rap artists, we got your boy All-Star JR, man, who just did a performance last week, and he literally got shot in the mouth. Let's see that real quick, he was definitely holding himself.
A little swelling, nigga. A little harsh, nigga. I'm still gonna look the same. Y'all niggas can't fuck with me, nigga. Fuck around, I'm gonna let y'all see the process, bro. I ain't ashamed of this shit. I'm a soldier for real, nigga. Y'all about to see me bounce back through all this shit, nigga. I'm still gonna ball on that little bum, nigga.
So let me recite what he just said. Okay, bro, look, man, much love to you, man. I promise you, man, there's no love lost, bro, but make sure you heal so we can understand what you're saying, man, and you could give that proper confidence to everybody else, man, that. Because, bro, you look like Kanye West for sure when he first got shot. But definitely, man, look like a titty then slapped you right in the face and squirted out some milk on the side, bro. I don't know what's going on, man. What you think about that? Because that shit was crazy. I mean, like, bro, heal first before you start talking. You got a wired up I don't know what's going on. It almost looked like he had a grill. I don't know.
I'm not familiar with what happened. So I don't know. I have no comment.
I mean, I'm a fan and all, but bro, make sure you heal, man, before you come out talking jump, man, because you never know who even after you. Heal up first, man. That's the main thing of this show, man. Heal, man. I couldn't understand what you were saying. I don't even think nobody else understood what you were saying, but heal up first, guy. All right, man. We praying for you. Next, we got another on yourself moment.
So wrong.
I'm just saying. We got another on yourself moment. This Evander Holyfield fight. I think he fought this guy named Belfort. He got locked out in the first 90 seconds. I don't know, 60 seconds. He didn't even last round. He got a TKO. Can you show that clip?
Swing and a miss, and Holyfield goes right into the ropes. That was clearly a slip, but not good body language.
But what I was going to say, I'll say it real quick. Good part, I noticed that he's very patient, and he looks for an overhand left, and then there it came.
Left to get into the uppercut, and that sends Holyfield down. A legitimate left uppercut knockdown.
I mean, after that time, bro, it didn't even look like he was
No.
Hey, in the old days, this is where Holyfield would come back.
At that age, man, just collect your royalties, man. We already know what you could do, okay? But getting TK'd in your first round, man, you trying to come back off retire. Just collect your royalties, man, and heal yourself. You really need some healing. You need a healing and a prayer, actually, man, because it must be some stuff going on up here to be trying to fight in a professional fight, bro, and you that age. I mean, you can't suffer from the cook.
I mean, at least he tried. He gave it a try.
A try?
I mean, he's out there. Like, at least he's out there. Listen, I'm just, I'm trying to stay proud.
I'm gonna put it just like this, man. If I'm that age and I got knocked out already, he knocked him through the rings first.
I mean, I saw the clip, but
I mean, he knocked him through the ring first. I wouldn't have got back up. I would have been like, yeah, I'm too old for this shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, young fella, you still old, but young fella. Man, heal up, man, because I'm a big fan of Holyfield. Don't get me wrong, but, bro, you need to stop fighting, man. Hang that retirement up, man. Just stop. Where you at? Just collect them royalties, man. I wish I was on you. I'm just saying. He should.
At least he tried. You know, he tried. He went out there and he did what he had to do with what he had.
Let me refresh back because I did say in one of my podcasts, like, you know, it's hard to get out there and expose your talent and really put your personality and your character on the line just to do something. But that he was on himself at his age. I'm just saying, boxing, come on. That's a dangerous sport. You know, they suffer concussions through those fights, you know. And he definitely suffered about a good 3 of them. I mean, he walked them up a few times, especially that little uppercut at the end where he had the way to fight like, nah, dog, nah. You know what I'm saying? He fucked him up pretty bad. I thought he would have had a titty like JR, man. I mean, that's crazy. Let's go to the next one.
Okay.
So our man or woman up talk of our show, you know, it's the advisory part of our show. You shared something with me this week, which I liked. And you kind of said, you broke down 2 words, advice, right? And advice. Is it advice? Say it.
You said it right.
All right, you know, say it.
Advice or advise.
All right. And break down those 2 words.
So giving advice is like giving your suggestions or telling people what they should or should not do.
Right.
Advice is, oh my gosh.
Advice.
Yeah, thank you. Is like advising someone. Go ahead.
Well, you got right here.
Professionally. Like what, like a lawyer, for instance, or like a consultant. And so I was thinking about, you had at the end of your last show, Level Up, which I think everyone should watch. But at your, that was the first show, I believe, in the studio too. So I wanted to say that, like, this studio was so great.
Yes.
But anyway, but in Level Up, in that session, in that podcast, you were talking at the end and kind of wrapping up the show, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like a weather alert. You know, when you know a storm is coming and you're not telling people what to do, but you are giving suggestions like a wrap up. That's what I was thinking of.
Okay.
It's like, oh, that's kind of cool. But that was just in my mind that I shared. I did not mean to share it with you on the podcast.
So, I mean, you sent me something that said, I always advise people never to give advice. That's something that I actually always live by. But can you break that down too? Are you able to break that down?
Sure.
All
I
right.
mean, yeah. It was just.
When it comes, all right, I guess I put it like this: like when it comes to certain situations, right? Whether via that is any kind of situation, how would you don't advise people to give advice, but what advice would you give on healing?
So on healing, so this is like a contradiction of that.
It's
of
definitely
that quote.
I mean,
it's a contradiction, but
everybody contradict themselves. So
yeah, that's true. But I guess just as it concerns healing, know who you are, and if you don't know, just like try to follow the path. It's like the Hansel and Gretel, right? You're following the breadcrumbs. Back to where you are. There are clues. There are clues. Your passions, your thoughts, things that you like, your gifts. There are clues. But just honing into what those clues are and saying, okay, you know, who am I? What do I want out of life? What am I thinking about? So just grounding yourself into knowing who you are. And then from there, and what I mean by knowing who yourself, it's besides money, it's besides titles and whatever, but just finding out who you are. And for me, it was through the Creator, God. Who does God say that I am? And then after that, identify your weaknesses and strengths.
Yeah, I always look in the mirror.
Or
I was-
challenges, they call them challenges.
yeah.
and
Oh,
strife.
you know, it's funny. I always look in the mirror and I always look at myself every morning. I rub my hair back now that I got long hair. I was always the pretty boy Floyd with the haircut, but I got hair. I always look in the mirror and be like, man, what do I really want? Like, and I always ask God to really give me the signs that I need to continue forth in what I'm doing. I'm in home inspection, home repair specialist, going after my dreams and being a barber too, and doing a podcast, which I love talking to the people, being knowledgeable, and pressing my way through that. A lot of people always ask me, man, why you always doing so much stuff, man? But I'm putting it into play now because I never know where I end up. I created so much leverage for my backup plans. Even to give me room to make moves to do what I can, and that don't just come from me. Like I have help too. Like I have a good family. A lot of people don't have family, but over time you meet people. You keep up good relationships and things like that. And I've always found myself even going back to my mother and my grandma or anybody saying like, man, you was right, things like that of what they instilled in me. That's why I really think it's important at a young age, especially with our generation, raising our kids at a young age. We want to make sure that we're not doing anything in front of them or that's going to alter their spirits as they grow. We have to instill things into them while they're young. So we are giving them a chance to come back because they're not going to always agree with nobody. They're not going to always agree with us. At a certain age, they're going to be, they're going to have their own lives. You know what I'm saying? But I always want my daughter to always come back to me and, be able to talk to me. Just be able to talk to me. I can help her out through a lot. Like now, I'm at a growth. I'm at a new growth in my life where I want things to be different. I'm tired of being in certain places in my life. I'm tired of being with my back against the wall, and then I got to hurry up and make decisions. I don't want to live like that. I'm doing all this stuff to keep the leverage of my life so I can keep moving. You know what I'm saying? I'm working so hard. Like JC said, I'm working so hard to keep stuff in place. And, that's one of my favorite artists, by the way, but I'm working so hard to keep things in place. Black excellence, why you make that face? You're not a Jay-Z fan?
I told you J. Cole before this even got started. I told you J. Cole, okay?
Yeah, he signed
all
to him.
the way. What a way. Anyway, we can talk about that later.
But so the moral of the story of this podcast is healing. Heal yourself. Make sure your body mentally, spiritually, physically is healed before moving to another level in your life. You got something you want to say?
I think one of the most important parts of healing is just making sure that you're authentically you. Whether you decide, some people are like, I don't have a relationship with God. They think that they have to do all of these things or whatever. Just start where you are today. I think that that's the most important part. It's not this big mystery, right? You can just start where you are today by identifying the things that you want out of life, the things that you don't want out of life, what has been working, what hasn't. Keep a journal or voice record or whatever the case may be, but really sit with yourself and figure out what it is that you want out of life and what is working, what is not. And then I remember when I was a child, I would just say, Lord, if you're real, please reveal yourself to me. And that helped me to identify. But if people are not, and I was like, I've heard of Jesus, and I know that Jesus is a powerful name. So in the name of Jesus, I pray, and then from there, I got to, it takes time. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Yeah.
So, just starting where you are.
Like the pastor said this Sunday, each level it comes with problems.
Yes.
It comes with a lot. You got to just have your mind open and prepare yourself for anything that's going to come. And have the strength to just break through them. Just keep going. Just don't stop. Don't stop. That's like, and a part of healing, really give your mind rest, relax yourself, and breathe. It's okay to take a breather. You know, I be at work before I say some slick shit. I literally be at work like, oh, let me take a breather. It's, it's ain't about to last. You know, I know I'm here for a reason and I'm getting up out of there, but, working for somebody really is making me unhappy because I like to run business a certain way. And that's why in all my endeavors in the job, for real, I'm really going to progress because I'm only there for a certain reason. So I'm happy and I'm content with what I'm doing at what I do at work because I love what I actually do. But it's the business that come with it. It's the struggle, especially up here because it's like, man, why is this way and y'all not following these rules? We supposed to follow these rules, and everybody doing their own thing. And then it's a lot of disconnections. Everybody's emotions is so different. So, with my healing process, I take a breather and I really take breaks and just having to relax my emotions, just to keep pressing my way through the day. So, everybody out there, take your time.
Be patient with yourself.
Yes.
I think that's the most important thing.
Yes.
Just to be patient with yourself in the journey because you might relapse or there might be a point in time where you're making all this progress and then you're like, or you're making the progress, you're taking the steps, and then you're like, I don't feel like I'm doing anything.
Yes.
Just be consistent and have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Once you've owned what is going on, once you've owned what is bothering you, have fun.
Yeah.
Just have fun with the process.
Okay, to let your hair down. I see a lot of y'all women already twerking everywhere, so
take yourself. Forget him. Take yourself on dates, ladies, if that's what you need to do.
Please. You don't need a man to take you on a goddamn date.
Anyway, take yourself out on a date, cook for yourself, get cute for yourself. If you think you're like, ooh, this is really, really cute, and you want to post on Instagram or whatever for yourself, do it for yourself.
Yeah.
And walk out the house. If you want to paint your nails, paint your nails. If you want to get your nails done, get your nails done. Whatever makes you feel cute and happy, do it for yourself.
And attractive, of course, an attractive period is confidence. I swear, that's so attractive.
And guys are always looking. They're always looking.
Of course, whatever.
But it's not about that. It's about you and feeling whole for yourself.
Yes, I mean, like I said, confidence take you a long way. So a lot of people is attractive to how confident you actually are in yourself. And if you are confident, if you are true to yourself and all those things, you will be able to see life in so much of a clear matter. Instead of this or that. No. When things come and you so confident with yourself, it's so many things you can take and there's some things you just can't take. You just got to weigh that stuff out. But that's it for me. I want to thank you for being on the show, and I want to thank Nyse Media for being here. We love you guys. We love all people out there. Thank you for joining the show. Bree?
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for sharing me with your platform and allowing me to be on your platform. I think it's amazing what you're doing. You've always, I've called you Delano, so I'm going to call you Delano. Okay.
Sound like my mom.
Your name is Delano. But you've always been about encouraging other people. You model it even in your personal life. And so I think that is really great. And I think that you are demonstrating what it is that you're talking about, even with leveling up and healing and all of that. Thank you, Nyse Studios, for having me. This has been a wonderful time.
Yes, and I want everybody to know that I love all people. I really, the hone yourself moments, it's not a judgmental thing. It's just stuff that I think is funny. I'm going to clown you about it. So that right there, that's just me being silly. I've always been a silly person. And, again, thanks, Nyse Media Studios. Make sure y'all watch these shows, even if y'all don't watch them front to back, but I want y'all to see the transition and the growth as I'm going and getting better with Born With It podcast, period. And, so stay tuned. That's it.
Thank you.
Hey.